excited to see you in the UK, man. It's not long where you'll be climbing that ladder at the O2. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the WWE shows in the UK the past couple of years and the raucous atmosphere, and obviously, just how excited we are to have a massive event like Money in the Bank.
Oh, for sure.
How excited are you, man, to get in there?
Man, you're talking about rolling into the O2. You're talking about climbing ladders and all this stuff. It's gonna be a car crash, but it's gonna be a damn good time, and it's gonna be in front of a hot crowd. So I think we're in for a good night.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of hot crowds, man, I was at WrestleMania this year, and throughout the whole weekend...
that's funny. I wasn't.
Oh, God, don't make me feel bad. But look, I mean...
go on, please.
I was at SmackDown. I was at Hall of Fame. Everybody was loving LA Knight, man. You must have felt that love from the crowd, right? Like, I know the disappointment of maybe not being on the show, but still, I feel like the momentum and stuff, it really has started to reach that crescendo around WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's been picking up since about March, and it hit a fever pitch at WrestleMania, and it's kind of just continued on since then. You try to ignore it, you try not to hear it for a little bit, and then it's just like, okay, well, there's not really much you can do about this anymore. It's here.
And that's the thing and all, man. Like, I feel like when you're on the mic now, and you've always been in this in your career, but I'm just talking WWE perspective, like, that's really captured the imagination of the people, and you're kind of at this stage in your career, and you've done a lot, been a lot of places. How does it feel now? Do you know what I mean? Have you arrived at exactly the right time in WWE?
Yeah, probably. Because I don't think the WWE fans have seen anybody like me ever, or at least in a very long time. But I would say ever because of my package. Because a lot of people like to make comparisons to this guy, that guy, whatever. But at the same time, no matter who you compare me to, I'm nothing close in a lot of ways, and I'm well above and beyond, because if you look at just my physical package along with, don't get excited, but my physical package, so to speak, along with the personality that goes along with it, it's something that's never been seen before. So I think in that way, you're looking at a big personality. I'm not out there doing, my little gymnastics routines or anything like that, like, you see some guys do, or some places do. But it's something that obviously people have gravitated toward, and it's something that I knew for a long time that I had to offer. I guess to just know that I was right all along, gives me a little bit of, a little bit of confirmation that this 20 years wasn't all wasted, because for years and years, I was broke as hell. And for years and years, I had family and friends that, you got to get a real job. You got to get a real job. You don't understand. I got something to do here. I got something to make happen. And after all this time, at long last, here we are.
Yeah, and like you said, going back to the fan reaction, that gives even more credence to that, man. Let's talk about you finally getting to the quote-unquote promised land, right? Why was it the right time? Is it Triple H who speaks to you? How does that all come about?
Well, I mean, I won't get super long-winded on this, but I was originally going to come back in 2016. Well, for some people, just come the first time because nobody knew, because they never saw TV the first time around in 2013, 2014. But I was in talks to come back in 2016, but the company that I was at was offering me a very, very nice raise. And WWE at the time was offering me kind of, entry level, just, hey, this is what we're going to do, whatever. And I get it, because I kind of left with heat, whatever. So I said, you know what, I got to stay and take this money for right now. Even though, well, I'll get there in a second. So the next year we come back, we talk again, same offer, but I have a programmed raise where I was. So it's like, all right, well, I'm going to stay because I've never seen this money before. Finally, I'm making money. And all right, I figure, all right, year 3, we'll talk again. They give me the same offer. And I'm like, God, guys, come on. We can't get a little something extra. And I said, you know what? I said, I couldn't do it, but I kind of kicked myself for not doing it at that point, because I realized that where I'd already reached the ceiling as far as money was concerned.
Yeah.
What they were offering me was way less, and it would have been a downgrade, but I knew my ceiling was much greater at WWE. But it was just that I had been broke for so long that I needed to take that money at that point in time. So for 3 years in a row, we talked. It didn't work out. 2019, we just kind of ships passing in the night. We never really got in touch. And then 2020, I was pretty sure, especially with the pandemic, I was like, there's no way. And I was also just like, well, everything's shut down. I'm just said my career is probably over. I'm just going to make whatever little bit of money I can in these smaller companies, whatever. And then at some point, it was just, well, I'll just make one more run for it. And I got in touch with Triple H and his team and whatnot. And we kind of put things together and finally made it happen.
And man, I enjoyed that too. The introduction of you in NXT. I enjoyed the Cameron Grimes feud greatly, right? With Ted DiBiase getting involved. Is that, you felt like you found your groove real quick?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, that's the funny thing is, like, for years, and I'm going to say for the better part of 10 years, I'd been working, hell, the last 10 years, even now still, I've been working as though I was here. Like, there was never a day where I slacked. There was never a day where I was like, I can just go in and phone it in. Because it was like, to me, there was that 1% chance that maybe somebody from here would be watching. And they probably never were. But just that possibility in my head, I was like, I'm working like I'm there. And for me, it was like, I want to watch and see what the other guys on that WWE TV are doing, because I want to still stand out from them. I don't want to do the same moves as them. I don't want to say or dress or do whatever that they're doing. So I wanted to make sure that when I came in, I was ready to hit the ground running, because I already had a package that worked and fit and was different. And so it kind of made it easy in that sense, where it was like, I didn't really have to do any extra preparation. Let me just continue being and doing who and what I am.
Yeah.
And I'm going to roll right in.
I'm glad you say that, because you're finding a groove and everyone's digging you in NXT, and then they want you to be Max Dupri. So, like, I was a bit like, okay. But what was your reaction, and how did that kind of come around?
Oh boy. I mean, I'm killing it in NXT. It's crazy. Like, just the reactions and the way that I had kind of turned from big time heel in the summertime to big time babyface by the winter. And it's not like piped in. It's not prefab reactions. Like, it was organic, real stuff happening. And then, I come up for a dark match. I get the attention of the right people. Hey, who is this guy? But then the age thing comes up. Oh no, he's 39. Danger. But I'm not the average 39-year-old. I haven't gone through the ringer. I haven't had a bunch of surgeries or injuries. Knock on that wood. I've lived a good youthful life in a certain sense, and I've taken care of myself in a way that I would say most don't. And also, I don't know. I look a certain way to where obviously I got somebody's attention, but that number came up, and it was like, well, okay, well, maybe we make him a manager. So I don't know. So some things happened there. It was not my cup of tea. Definitely, I don't think it was for me, but somehow there I was. Some things happened that we don't need to go into, and then eventually, LA Knight was back.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know I have to let you go, because I know there's going to be other people queuing up to talk to you. But I want to finish on that, right? Like, is it Triple H? Obviously, NXT's his baby and whatnot. Is it a conversation with him where you say, look, let's go back to LA Knight?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of pushing for it, but didn't know if it was really a possibility at that point, because I'm like, well, all right, well, we already established this thing to this larger audience. I mean, the NXT audience is what it is, just under 1 million or whatever. And now you're looking at over 2 million for SmackDown. So it's like, all right, there's a bunch of people who've never even seen LA Knight before, and they've only seen this other thing. So now, can we just change gears? But I think a testament to his trust and a testament to my abilities to be able to turn that corner in very short order, people not even barely remember that there was another.
I went out into this passionate, angry Chicago crowd, pissed off that their guy, their hero, CM Punk, was no longer in the company. And I lured them in because that's the name of the game. That's how you play an audience. That's how you command attention. That's the balls that it takes to do something on the mic that you're fearless on, and if it doesn't work, you know you're going to be fired when you walk back through the curtain.